Cheers, everyone. We are in a locals bar here in Alexandria, Virginia, right by Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. And I decided to go to a place that was a little bit off the main King Street in order to go to a place that's a little bit more local. This place has been around since the 1950s, and it was recommended by one of the gift shop owners who was a Virginian, and she recommended me to check out this place. So can't wait to check it out. It's classic American fare, but with some small twists to it. So enjoy me for a dinner here in Alexandria, Virginia. Maybe to try something unique.
Sorry, I forgot my mask.
No worries. Thank you. All right. So our first appetizer. Okay, so let me show you where I'm located. I'm having right now here at Chadwick's. They make their own mango seltzer, which is very interesting. Spiked seltzer. And it's really delicious, actually. Slight mango taste, not too strong. It's more kind of a very light, kind of spiked drink. And unfortunately, the live stream that I was doing in the old town, right by that old house, I was excited to go on the tour and go inside the actual building. First, the guy said no video, strictly no video. He didn't say anything about the camera, but I think he was assuming I was taking some photos. And due to security reasons. So I'm not entirely sure what the security reasons are for a house museum. I've done many live videos spontaneously in house museums. Never ran into issues. So first that happened, so I decided to kind of leave the tour and just continue on so I can show you more. But unfortunately, the service was so bad in that area that the entire live stream crashed. And in that time, as the live stream crashed, I had to charge my phone. I ended up getting some souvenirs. And also now having some food. So I'm okay. It dropped early on Facebook, and then it dropped, I continued about an hour through on YouTube more, and it dropped again on YouTube. So we're back for some dinner. I promised a mukbang for people who don't know what mukbang is. It's basically eating on camera, and some people are very curious about the food. Now, as I was speaking with the Virginian from the Old Town shop, the owner of the store, she had a Virginian accent, which is kind of like, if you ever see a film that takes place in the South, it's kind of like a much lighter version of that. And she was recommending that there wasn't anything that's really stereotypically Virginian. Only one thing she said, it was a peanut soup in the nearby restaurant, but the nearby restaurant doesn't have any outdoor seating. So yeah, everything's good. And it doesn't have any outdoor seating. So I decided to just come here. Her second recommendation, she said there's nothing really stereotypically Virginian as far as she knows. I personally, as an American growing up here in America, I never really heard anything stereotypically Virginian. You might hear sometimes barbecue, but it's not even barbecue. Barbecue is more like associated with like North Carolina, and seafood is more associated with Maryland, not so much with Virginia. So it was a little bit tough to find something stereotypically Virginian. So I decided to go for some classic American fare, and here they have some unique combination. Let me show you. So here I am at a bar located in a historic industrial warehouse from the 1800s, close by the waterfront. Lots of pigeons nearby over there. And this is the plate I have right now. Look at that. And my battery pack is connected to my camera. Look at that. All right, let's try it out. Egg rolls, American style. Hello, Michelle. Hello, B. Griffin. Your left shoulder looks ripped. Oh no. This is a new shirt. I barely wore this. That sucks. That's a shame. I'll sew it later when I get back home. But yeah. It's ripped, unfortunately. Don't know what happened. Bad ripping. Yeah. Alright, let's try this out. Some egg rolls. They're famous for these egg rolls. Now, interesting thing is there's a lot of like Asian restaurants around here, or Asian fusion restaurants. I'm interested why. It's interesting to see Asian restaurants. Is there an Asian population around here? Let me know. Let's try this out. Some egg rolls. Wow. That's some good egg rolls. Very big, very fresh. They're not lying. I asked what's their most popular appetizer, and they said it was these egg rolls. Really good. So very crunchy on the outside. Very fluffy. Crunchy on the outside, but yet fluffy in the inside. They just fried it perfectly in order to get that crunch and that combination of kind of soft doughiness in the middle. And jam-packed with veggies. And I think this is some type of seafood, though I can't really tell, or chicken. Can't really tell. Really, really good. Wow. Egg rolls is something that you'll find in every Chinese food restaurant in general. And then a few days ago, I covered mumbo sauce in Washington, D.C., which is this kind of like sweet and sour barbecue sauce thing, sriracha kind of like sauce. That's D.C. kind of original. And mumbo sauce is usually put on hot chicken wings in Chinese food restaurants, Chinese American food restaurants. So egg roll is something you'll usually find in Chinese food American restaurants. And this is a really good quality egg roll. This is one of the best egg rolls I've had. Very greasy too, like juicy in the good way. Not like in kind of corner store lower end grease. It's like a good kind of greasiness. It's hard to explain. I don't know why, and now I want strudel, says Elisa. And hello, Elizabeth. There's no egg inside. Oh no, there is no egg inside. It's an egg roll without eggs. I think there has to be some egg. It's just we can't see it. It has to be some eggs. And Nice Crunch says Joe. Yeah, indeed, Joe. And Wikipedia says egg rolls are of East Asian origin, but only came to North America in the 20th century. Yes. So remember that Chinese food, when we say Chinese food here in America, what we're really saying is Chinese American food. Just like we say Italian food, most of the time we're referring to Italian American food. So if we talk about chicken parmesan, we might say it's Italian food, but it's had more than 100 years of separation. Chinese food has had between 300 years, since the 1800s, early 1800s. So 220 plus years of separation between mainland Cantonese area, mostly the Port of Canton, Guangdong area, and modern day Chinese food. So that's Chinese American food. I might say Chinese food, but that's what I mean. And hello 4K Wanderer. Egg is what is used to seal the seams of the roll. Also binds the cabbage. Thank you, Chris. So it does have egg. It's not like scrambled egg. This is truly a revelation. Wow. So, delicious. Let me know if you have any questions about my trip over here. I'm not so deeply familiar with the area, but I've been traveling here. I came here already like 6 or 7 times when I was younger, so feel free to ask me any questions related to that. They give like a sweet and sour dip but it's more on the spicy end. It's really spicy. Sweet and spicy dip, I think. It's extremely spicy. Have you ever had food that wasn't good on the stream? Yeah, it's happened. Just watch a few of my live streams. I encounter actually pretty bad food like a few times, like a month ago. So it has happened. For example, there was a pizza that I ended a live stream with, and it was like terrible. He gives honest reviews. Yeah, I tend to be very positive minded, so I really tend to enjoy everything. But if I don't like something, I'll tell you. This channel is not a food review channel. I'm not a food critic, and I don't intend to give any types of criticism. But, you know, if at the moment in time I don't like something, I'm just gonna tell you. Did you go on that Carlisle tour? No, there was no video allowed. I wasn't going to cancel the live stream to do that due to security reasons, which to me sounds very weird, to be honest. Let me know, what do you think security reasons are for a house museum? First time I've heard a house museum say you can't film due to security reasons. I do understand if it's copyright issues, but security reasons sounds interesting to me. Let me know what you think it was. Irene says there was I always mispronounce this, a macaron, macron, I always mispronounce that I didn't like in Paris. Yeah, indeed. There was a macaron that I really did not like in Paris. The Marie Antoinette from Lauderie. Lauderie sells amazing macarons, but that one from Marie Antoinette version was terrible. Big Dog says they don't want to get robbed. It's a bit weird. We're in a very nice neighborhood, a very touristic neighborhood, even though it's empty right now. This is a tourist hotspot. Lots of people who visit DC come over here. So Big Dog, that is an interesting assumption. I just feel like that might not be it. This is a very kind of very safe area, very touristy, lots of people here, very rich area in general. A lot of people who work here kind of are in a higher income bracket. So I just find it a little bit weird that they are, not allowing video for security reasons. It's not that I'm mad or anything. I just find it very interesting. I'm always very fascinated with the video rules, especially in America. America tends to be a little bit more strict than other countries. There you are, Susan. Yes. You were covering a cool spot before we lost you. Yeah, it was. The connection just dropped. And it was funny, Hyde, I'm not sure if she's watching right now, she was mentioning that she sensed some dark spirits in that mansion. So, who knows? So right now, I'm in the neighborhood kind of bar that has been here since the 1950s. Even though their food seems very kind of modern, it seems like they've updated their menu. From the 1950s, called Chadwick's. That man didn't want to be filmed. Maybe. I don't want to get too deep into this, but I think when it comes to tourist sites, everyone has a phone. I get it, you might not want to be filmed, but everyone has a phone. A lot of tourists take casual videos, Instagram stories, photos galore. People make vlogs, I think when it comes to tourist spots, I understand with private property, I'm always very respectful of private property, but in tourist sites, to me, it's a bit kind of I don't like when they say no video in tourist sites. So, because it's a tourist place. It's I understand some house museums are private property and they're allowing some tours, but if it's an especially well visited city, I don't. I think it's rather weird to not allow video. I understand with art because art sometimes is copyrightable. Amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. Enjoy it.
Right. So we're ready. But they shoot people away with the real camera. Yeah, yeah. Phone is very rare. With phone, it's a little bit easier to shoot. Let me know what you think. For example, I have my family. When I used to travel a lot with them when I was younger. My family loved photography, like deeply. They love shooting photographs. My dad, for example, always had like a huge camera on him, and they also would get pissed off when we would go to like certain museums. And I get it, art museums, there's copyright issues, but other types of museums, sometimes they would say no photo, and they would get pissed off about this. and I get it, because you're a tourist, you want to like capture the memory. So I've personally encountered this, says B. Griffin. Okay, so I have not eaten today, so I'm getting hungry watching this. All right, everyone. So I decided to go for something that could be kind of Virginian. Again, Virginia doesn't have like a really specific cuisine. It's on the border of the Mid-Atlantic. It's to the south. It's interesting, but we are close to the sea, so I end up getting a crab patty burger, a crab cake burger with some sweet potato fries. Oh yeah. Oh, and they put some mayo ketchup sauce, mayonnaise ketchup sauce. Oh, this is good. Oh yeah, I understand if it's a heavy setup in terms of a camera. If you're carrying like a huge video camera, I get it. But with phone, my personal belief on it, if it's a tourist site in a well-visited area, in a heavily trafficked tourism spot, I think they should be okay with video generally, unless if there's copyrighted material such as modern art. Otherwise, I don't think it should be an issue with a phone or a tiny little point-and-shoot camera or even a DSLR. Let me know what you think. All right, let's bite into this food here at Chadwick's. I'm so excited for this. The egg rolls were amazing. First, let me try a fry with their pink sauce. This pink sauce is good. It's mayo ketchup, it's mayonnaise ketchup, but I think they added a little bit extra either sweetness to it. Really good sweet potato fries. Really tasty. Really crunchy. And soft and beautiful in the inside. The worst place on earth to take photos of is the Sistine Chapel. It is, because the Sistine Chapel is copyrighted. And that's because, or it was copyrighted. They just continue to enforce the rule, but the reason they enforced the rule in the Sistine Chapel was because it used to be copyrighted by a Japanese company. The Japanese company put in money to restore the Sistine Chapel. I think it was in the 1980s. And they end up doing this massive restoration. However, in turn, the Japanese government-funded television station, I think it's called NHK, if I'm correct, they end up copyrighting the entire Sistine Chapel, exclusive rights for that television station and whatever Japanese company they were associated with. So, pink sauce goes with my shirt. It does. Let's try this crab burger, shall we? Let me show you a better look. And I might have missed your questions, so feel free to ask me again as I'm biting into this crab burger. Look at that. Whoa. And that was the egg rolls, oh my god, and the seltzer spiked drink. So usually when you come, is the pink sauce tartar sauce? No, it's mayonnaise and ketchup mixed together, not tartar sauce. I don't sense any other additional ingredient. I think it's just straight mayonnaise and ketchup. But let's see if the mayonnaise is homemade. I don't think so. No, I don't think it's homemade mayonnaise, but it's good mayonnaise. They give you a lemon. I legally imported a photo machine, says Elisa, to legal photograph my music band. Indeed, indeed, Elisa. Bro, let's try this out. This town is so beautiful. It's called Russian dressing. That's what you guys call it? In Puerto Rican countries, in Puerto Rico, we call it mayo ketchup. Dominicans also call it mayo ketchup. Upstate New York, I think, call it fry sauce, so also the Midwest. Maria, I lost you at ketchup mayonnaise. How did I offend you, Maria? Mariah. I'm just describing what that is. So this is very good. Good bread. It's like your normal type of burger bread, but the crab cake itself is really filled with crab. It's mostly crab. It's amazing. Really good. Really. Really big crab cake. It tastes amazing. I highly recommend this. This is good like American fare with a nice Asian twist with these egg rolls. Yeah. This is good food. So what I like about this type of food is if you're traveling around America, it's a bit tricky because not every place has like really world-known cuisine. Like New York is known for its pizza, its bagels, its hot dog. California might be known for its avocado toast and for its fresh produce and wine. Texas might be known for its barbecue, and North Carolina might be known for it is known for its barbecue. New Orleans is known for its Cajun food. But there's other states where it's not quite clear cut. Maryland is known for its crabs, indeed. So we're having something. Even though we're in Virginia, we're having something pretty Maryland with crab. Not every place has every state has its kind of unique food. They might have their food that is known within the state, but it's not kind of like known across the U.S. So it's a bit tricky. But I think the cool thing about the U.S. is that when you go to these American places, especially if they're kind of more new or trendy or have an interesting menu, you're gonna have some really interesting kind of fusion. You know, in America, there's no qualms about experimenting, which might not be the case in many European countries. So if you go to Italy or France specifically, those countries tend to be very traditional. Very traditional. So they don't really experiment much. But in America, the cool thing is there's a whole lot of experimentation. Oh, I'm doing very well. Excellent food. They do a little bit more experimentation, which is nice. And since America, Texas is known for barbecue. Yes, there are definitely states that are known for something, but that's not the case with every single state. I'm curious, does anyone know anything that Virginia is really known for? Let me know. Maybe might be wrong, but I had a conversation with one of the owners of the gift shop earlier, and she couldn't really think of anything. So, how much is this? So it's pretty expensive. This area of Washington, D.C. is pretty expensive. Virginia is known for ham. Yeah, it's known for ham. yeah. Peanuts. So the peanut soup is Virginian. That's Virginian. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe somewhere I'll find some peanut soup. This is like, I think, $15 or $16. And this is like $18. $18. And I'm not sure what this is. This might be like $8, maybe $10. Pretty expensive. Yeah, pretty expensive food. Wendy. Peanut soup. Yep, peanut soup exists here. George Washington apparently ate it. Wendy just sponsored part of this food. Thank you, Wendy, for covering a part of the food. I appreciate it. And we had a few other people in the last live stream give to a little bit of the food. It's like basic peasant food. Yeah, it is. But there's a lot of iconic foods out there that started as peasant foods. Virginia is expensive to live also, yeah. I mean, this entire area, be prepared in Washington, D.C. and I'm saying D.C. a lot because this is the D.C. metropolitan area. Even though this is not D.C. proper, Washington, D.C. proper, the entire area is connected to by rapid transit, connected by major roadways. A lot of the people who live here might all do work also in Washington, D.C., so it's a metropolitan area. Similar to like New York, if you include within the metropolitan area, you do include Westchester, you do include Jersey City and Hoboken, and you include Nassau County. So here in DC metropolitan area, it is expensive. DC is a bit more expensive than New York. I'm a little bit more hard pressed to find better deals in DC than I am in New York. New York, you have a lot more options. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's been my experience thus far. So how much you're paying for the platter? The platter is $18 around there. Okay, Maria says, Virginia is known for Southern style fare, including oysters, peanuts, barbecue, country ham, blue crabs, trout, apples, and Brunswick stew. Cool. That's awesome. You're right. San Fran is more expensive. I've heard about San Fran. It's very expensive. Just 2 egg rolls, $15. Yeah. But they're very good egg rolls. Wow. It sounds good, yeah. She's a big Bay food, says Just Jill. Yeah. So, back to Subway. I wouldn't eat at Subway. Just no. There's many fast food chains in America that are good or passable. Subway is not one of them. I will say that straightforward. I get it. Maybe someone out there loves Subway, but it's terrible. Okay, blue crab for tomorrow. Okay, I'll try to find some blue crab. Maybe in Georgetown. So someone asked, does DC produce crabs? I don't think so. I don't think DC has a seafood industry. But whatever seafood you might have in DC might be seafood from Maryland or Virginia. Or of course, America has a very connected system of food. So unlike Europe, where food, as many European countries, are connected to local produce. That is the case in London, that is the case in Italy, that is the case in France. Here in America, we sometimes get food from like across the country or across the world. So, for example, we eat avocados, and sometimes those avocados are not even from California. Sometimes the avocados you might have at like a brunch place might be from Peru. So keep that in mind when you're ever in America. It doesn't mean that's necessarily bad. It's not as fresh as European countries. But the trade-off is that you do get some very inventive dishes. Because even though it is not as fresh as having produce and meats and cheeses that are from a 60-mile radius, when you are in America, especially in nice places like these, like Chadwick's, I highly recommend it. I'm having a blast with this food. You will have food that is out of the ordinary, or food that's very inventive. A sandwich with like avocados from Peru or Mexico, and pears from the southern U.S. and mangosteen or whatever. You know, you might have very inventive foods. I think that's why American fare is really interesting when you look at it in that lens. Oh. So am I facing the waterfront? Says Julio. Oh, not Julio. Julio, I'll get to your question. Sam says, am I facing the waterfront? I'm facing a beautiful parking lot. The waterfront is right in front of the parking lot. I was going to go to one of the waterfront restaurants. However, those restaurants, they look nice. They're about the same price. Maybe a little bit more expensive because they're right in front of the waterfront. But I wanted to go to a place that is filled with locals, this is kind of like off a few streets from the main street, and it doesn't seem super packed with people as the other restaurants, even though there's not that many tourists here. But my impression so far from Alexandria, I did a quick search while looking at the reviews as well. A lot of people come from like nearby areas to go to the restaurants, mostly on King Street. Nice car park indeed. Yeah, it is a nice car park. And what's my impression of Alexandria? I love Alexandria. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. I'm in love with it. Highly recommend coming here. It's beautiful. It's quaint, beautiful houses, beautiful architecture. Wonderful. What are you drinking? A mango seltzer, spiked seltzer. They make it here apparently. So I just had it. It's pretty good. Not much mango taste, but pretty good. I should start a food review channel, someone earlier said. Not food review channel, I wouldn't do food review, but I would love to do a food show on like Netflix or Amazon. These horn-rimmed glasses are from Warby Parker. Yeah. Okay, so ask me anything about traveling to DC area, my experiences so far, or traveling in this area of the US in general, because you've seen me do videos. If you've been watching on Facebook, you see me in Philadelphia, you see me in Boston, New York, I've been to New Jersey also, I've been to here in DC and now Virginia, so it was my first southern state. Qué encanto lugar. Sí, Mónica, so estoy ahora mismo en Alexandria. Yo sé que tú lo conoces más seguro porque tú has venido a DC. Un área bien bonita, bien precioso, mucha cosa, comida buena, mucha arquitectura, belleza, y también la área del río es bien bonito. Beautiful architecture, beautiful food, wonderful waterfront as well. How many days are needed to see the DC area? And that is a good question. I like that question, Olivier. And I'll get back to the other questions. YouTube audience wants to see all these places, Sam says. Oh, cool. That's awesome. I'm glad I'm showing that. And remember, you can always tune in. 1 p.m. every day for this trip is the walking ones. This is just the bonus food one. Can you say, how many days can you see Washington, D.C.? I'm already here 3 days. Because today's Thursday. And I did a video on Tuesday. I did a video on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I've done it in 3 days. And this is my 4th day. I think I could have seen everything by now. To me, Washington, D.C. is a city that you can basically see in a few days. I think 4 days, if I'm not doing videos, because I'm researching and I'm taking a little bit more time to do each video, so I'm not exploring nonstop, and I'm reading and I'm watching videos and I'm walking around in order to see the spots before I visit them. But beyond that, if I weren't doing any of that, I think I could have been done by now. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just the thing is with Washington, D.C., and this is my opinion. Again, you know that I've been here for a certain amount of time. It's a personal opinion. You're asking me for my personal opinion. Everyone has a different opinion. It's okay to have a different opinion. But from my point of view, I don't see too many places to kind of get lost in terms of neighborhoods. It's an area where there's not that much strong neighborhood life. While DC does have its neighborhoods, they tend to be places that are not touristy or not connected to a touristy area, and probably a little bit more difficult to travel in. So while DC does have its community that has been here for decades, for nearly 100 years, unfortunately that community is in areas that are a little bit lower income. And there's not that much strong kind of food scene or strong touristy scene or strong neighborhoods. So that's why DC in the more touristy areas doesn't have this strong neighborhood feel. And I don't think, since that you don't have that, I think after you visit all the main tourist sites, which you can easily do in 2 or 3 days, even with the museums, I think since the museums tend to close a little bit later here at 7 p.m., you can easily go to a few museums a day. And maybe there's special Fridays where it's a little bit later. You can easily see everything very quickly. So that's what I mean by DC not being a really neighborhood city. So it's mostly just the tourist sites, and you're done, basically. So that's why it's 4 days, I think, suffices. However, if you do want to do day trips from DC, you can go to Fredericksburg, which I really loved when I was younger. You can go to Colonial Williamsburg. Annapolis is also nearby. Some people really are interested in Baltimore. I don't know too much about Baltimore. I only know about the show The Wire from HBO. So yeah, it depends. Yeah, if you really love museums and really love taking your time, easily you can spend way more time. For me, I'm more interested in history museums. And if it's an art museum, it has to have some art that I'm really interested in looking at. Here, the art museums don't really catch my eye. And the house museums here tend to be small. So as we saw, the house museum was pretty small. I couldn't go in fully, but the house museum was pretty small over here, Langley, or Carlisle. And then there's a house museum in Georgetown, which is pretty tiny. So house museums here are pretty small as well. It's not like going to Versailles or going to some major house museum. And that is not saying that's bad. This is not a judgment upon the quality of the city. I'm having a blast. It's just a city you can visit very quickly, in my opinion. So let me know what you think about DC for people who've been here. Let me know. And of course, this is a travel show. This is not journalism. This is not a food show even. It's not my intention to show you the reality of the city. This is not urban planning show either. I might talk about urban planning, but it's not an urban planning show. In essence, this is a travel show. So I'm showing you stuff that you would travel to. And sometimes it will be weird stuff that you travel to, very off the beaten path. And sometimes it's the normal tourist sites. Thank you for the 3 live streams. My pleasure, Aiden. I'm so glad you're enjoying the 3 live streams. So, Denesia, saying the rest of DC is a pretty shady area. And I'll say this. It is a shame that that's the case. And this is a personal opinion. It is a shame that there are very few African American neighborhoods that are really thriving and very interesting foods, places have interesting food and to see interesting museums or house museums or shows. There's Harlem in New York, and there might be a few major others. Let me know. But there's not that many, and it is a deep shame, and I wish that DC, the African American community, had something really interesting to visit as from the perspective of your everyday tourist. I would love to see that deeply. I don't mean that as a token statement. I am genuine about this. I love that there's a museum of African American history here in DC, and that's a good first step. But Harlem should not be the only place that has a great African American tourist destination, because it's a very important portion of our history here in America. Just like Chinatowns are touristy. It's also you can go to a fun Chinatown and have some amazing food. Why isn't that the case here in DC? I do understand I can go to those neighborhoods and maybe do have some food. But I'm talking about for the everyday tourist. It's not so easy to do that. It's not so kind of clear cut. You don't have guides, you don't have guidebooks, you don't have like a house museum to go or a museum to go. And it's a shame because African American history is so crucial to American history. And there shouldn't even be a differentiation. I get it, but due to historical circumstances for the past 300 years, that community has been pretty insular, even though it has had an effect in America and across the world. But it's insular due to many historical circumstances that have been negative. And due to that fact, even though it's insular, that's why I am saying that there should be more African American places to visit. Because I understand in the ideal future, I would love to be a traveler where there is no difference, where it's all integrated. That is the ideal for me. That is my dream, as Martin Luther King said. As a traveler, that is my dream, especially as a person who loves this country, who loves America. I would love to see in the ideal future that there is no differentiation. You don't say African American from American. You don't say Chinese American from American. General Tso's chicken is as American as apple pie. Mumbo sauce on chicken hot wings is as American as apple pie, is as American as pizza. I would love that. So hopefully that will happen. But in the meantime, I think we should have more African American tourist sites, tourist destinations. Atlanta, maybe Atlanta. I'm not sure about Atlanta. When I read Atlanta, it doesn't seem too positive or so easy as a traveler. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's an area in Atlanta. Let me know. I'm curious. I would like to be part of advocating that, says 4K Wanderer. Oh, cool, 4K Wanderer. Between yesterday's all-day tour and you being out today, seems like you developed a nice town. Oh, yeah. Getting sunburned because of all the food, because of all the walking. And no trees here. Very, very little trees. Here, yes, but not so much in DC. Super chat. Oh, someone left a super chat. Hey, King, thank you so much. Big round of hearts to the modders who leave super chats. King, $2. Thank you so much. And for the Facebook people who leave stars, I sometimes miss them because on my interface I can't really see who's leaving stars or not. NMAAC is amazing. Okay, cool. You know what? Speaking about that, I think I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see if I can get tickets to go to the African American Museum, so I can show it on live video. So stay tuned. I'm gonna see if I can do it sometime this weekend. Crossing fingers. They have a global impact through sports, arts, entertainment. Yeah, countless things. Countless things. We should treat each other as equal human beings. Indeed, Ronan. Indeed. But I think it's important to acknowledge that some communities, in regardless of whatever country, has had their own insular culture and neighborhoods and areas where they live in. So African American is one of them. Chinese American is also one of them. While there is integration, it's been very recent. And I see it here, which is awesome. I see it here in DC, which is awesome, but it's been very recent. So that culture has had African Americans 300 years, Chinese Americans 200 something years, Puerto Rican Americans kind of a little bit, not so much, a little bit. They had insular culture probably about like 50 years or so. And when you have those insular cultures, you do have a very unique culture popping out of it. Something that's different from the overall mainstream culture. Are you doing a live stream tonight? No, today's the last live stream for today. Hello, 8. My name is Ariel. Welcome. And I think he's shown the waterfront a little bit. Yeah, I'll show the waterfront after this. Let me continue enjoying this food. I love all these questions and all these comments. Okay. What is my favorite food? The favorite coffee order sparked the long convo last time when you did the Hudson Boat Tour. You can tell I love food. I love talking about food. My favorite food in the world that I have anyway, generally, excuse me, it's a Mexican-American style burrito. It's number one pick. Not pizza, no. I love pizza, but I love it. I tend to show it more on video because pizza always tends to be more interesting on video.
Did you check in?
Burritos, usually always burritos.
He said no.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's getting full. I'll show you.
Jody and Charlie are in there covering the waterfront. Hi, sweetie. Alan ended up with all.
Yeah, not pizza. The reason I feature a lot of pizza is A, I do a lot in New York. B, I've been to cities where there's interesting pizza, like Rome and Naples last year. So I feature it for that because it's unique. And C, when you go to pizza places in different areas, they tend to be really interesting, really cool to show on video. Burritos are burritos almost everywhere. There might be some unique, different, aspects of burritos in different areas, but a burrito is a burrito, generally, everywhere. You might have different toppings, but there's only so many different types of meats. So that's why I pick a burrito, but I really don't show too many of it because there's not that many differences in burritos. I could end the live stream, or I could do like a live stream at a burrito place. I've done a few of them. But after that, you're kind of done. maybe when I go to a different country or to a different state like California, I'll feature burritos there because they're known for their unique burritos. Or whenever I go to Mexico, they don't eat burritos, but maybe they do it to either get some American customers, or maybe it's some trendy hip Mexican restaurant that's trying to take back some Mexican American influences, and then they eat a burrito. But in essence, a burrito is as American as apple pie. Yes, a burrito is American. You go to Mexico, you ask for a burrito, they'll be like, you want like a tiny donkey? What? They'll be weirded out because there's no burritos. There's very few burritos in Mexico. It's not a Mexican thing. It's a Mexican-American thing, hence American. So burritos is as American as apple pie, ladies and gentlemen. But I love them, just for normal day food. And of course, coffee. I might do a night tour bus. Yeah, let me know. Who wants to see a night tour bus? Let me know in the comments. Do you guys want to see a night tour bus? What are you having for supper? This is my supper. I think I'm gonna be full after this. I have some more banana bread in my bag. I think that's all I need for today. Night tour bus. All right, a lot of people want to see a night tour bus. Interesting. All right. I mean, today is a clear day. Should I do it tomorrow? Tomorrow's gonna be a clear day. Tomorrow. Stay tuned tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll do Georgetown and a night tour bus. Okay. Kasami. Friday night I think is a perfect night for a night tour bus. Stay tuned tomorrow. Night tour bus tomorrow. Tomorrow the night tour bus is at 7 p.m. I think. I'll double check, but I think it's 7 p.m. So Georgetown at 1 and night tour bus. Is there a ferry? I'm not sure if the ferries are running. Let me know. What would you normally eat for breakfast? I normally eat avocado toast that I make at home. Watch my head on the night tour bus. The night tour bus is the trolley tours, and they have a roof and they're lower. So I'll be able to hold on to my head. Did you show the Union Station? Not inside. No. I'll maybe show it my last day. Stay tuned, the 27th. I'll show it for a few minutes. I'm on for a bus tour. I didn't see nothing today. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. The bus tour can be too dark to stream. It might be, but we might be able to see some of the sights. There's a great French-style church in Georgetown. Cool. Yeah, tomorrow you're gonna see Georgetown. So I gotta take these fries home because I'm not gonna eat all these fries. It's great food. I'm gonna take these fries home. I'm gonna eat this egg roll. Union Station is not that nice at night, no. But I'll show it maybe a small video on Tuesday morning. Do you get around with Uber? No, Uber is very expensive here, Joe. It's a bit cheaper than New York. So you can go from one end of the city to the other. But it's pretty expensive. It's still pretty expensive. You end up still spending like $15, $16. And thank you for the awesome tours of DC. My pleasure. My pleasure, Matt. Thank you so much. Phil says I look so happy. Yeah, I love traveling. I really do love traveling, especially when it's a city, it's easy to travel through. There's a lot of cool history that I personally really like and are attracted to. There's good food, easy to find good food. Today I found some amazing breakfast. I love to travel, and I feel very happy when I do. So I'm very grateful for all the new subscribers. Someone earlier mentioned about subscribers. Feel free to ask that question again. But yeah, I got 15,000 subscribers in YouTube now, and over 140 on TikTok, which is kind of crazy, very quickly, and of course Facebook, 40 something, 45,000. So I just am very grateful that I can make a travel show and still travel at the same time. And I'm enjoying it now because, you know, winter's coming, as they say in Game of Thrones. Winter's coming. And this winter, I have the feeling it's going to be a winter that is not really one to go out. So I'm enjoying it for now. I'm not too optimistic about travel opportunities until probably February. Hi, Blakely. Thank you so much for tuning in. How did you get to DC? Amtrak. $29 each way from Penn Station directly to here. 3 hours and 40 minutes. Very comfortable ride. Pretty long, but very comfortable. How can we promote your channel? Says Cynthia. So, okay, cool. Thank you so much. A few ways to promote my channel is on YouTube. The most basic thing is liking and commenting on any of my videos, and also the ones I post edited. That is the bare minimum that helps YouTube algorithm to show my videos to more people. 2 is share that link with a friend who might be really interested in. Yeah, share that link. On Facebook, it's a little bit easier. Facebook is a little bit easier to really spread the word. If you really want to spread the word on Facebook, share my videos with big groups. Groups that are about whatever I'm talking about. So if it's my Georgetown broadcast tomorrow, share it with a Facebook group about Washington, D.C. travel, or travel in general, or American history group. There's many other groups you can share on Facebook. And Facebook is really good because if you share my videos on the group, then I can get way more views and way more new people tuning in. YouTube, you know, that's a little bit tricky, but a comment and a like really does go a long way. And of course, the best way is through direct contributions. So you can go on paypal.me/Ariel Vieira or patreon.com/urbanist. And where have you been internationally other than Europe? Ooh, I've done around like 16, 17 different cities around North America and Europe so far. So everyone could lend in what cities they enjoyed the most. On YouTube, I only started doing live streams about 2 months ago. But if you watch my older Facebook live videos, I've done London, Bucharest, Romania, Rome, Naples, Pompeii, Madrid, Paris, and basically that's it. Yeah, I've done those. And then I've done Puerto Rico, San Juan, Montreal, and Maine. I really loved Maine. Maine is excellent food destination. Manny, en los tours contigo ha aprendido más que cuando viajo y yo mismo. Un saludo de Buenos Aires. Oh, gracias por mirando de Buenos Aires. Lo agradezco. Y qué bien que ha aprendido mucho. Manny says he's learned a lot from my live streams. I'm so glad you can. Someone earlier asked, your Spanish is very good. Where you're from? My family's from Puerto Rico. Spanish was my first language. I learned English when I started going to school. So yeah, and I speak Spanish at home with my family. So yeah, I'm fluent in Spanish. Español es mi primer lenguaje. Mi familia es de Puerto Rico y yo estaba hablando español mayormente con la familia por toda mi vida. Eso porque yo soy fluente en español. No tanto escribiendo o escribiendo y casi no leo en español, pero hablando sí, soy bastante fluente. Will we see more collaborative videos? Yeah, I think so. Since my friends are based in New York, I'll be able to go maybe do something with Action Kid. Helsinki. Phil, thank you so much for reminding me. Yes, Helsinki. I knew I missed two places, Helsinki and Tallinn. I loved Helsinki. Oh my God. Such a great city. Great food in Helsinki as well. And awesome history. And Sam says I should do Japan, Hong Kong. I wish I can go to Hong Kong. There's way too many political turmoil and very strict rules now with the Chinese regime against filming, especially to American social media. So it's not gonna happen. I would love to go to China, I would love to go to Shanghai and Hong Kong, but no, it won't be a possibility. And I love to cover history, and that history sometimes is deep. It's a bit more, kind of looks at both sides. And to be honest, I don't feel comfortable covering, if I were to go to China to do videos about history, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it because no one knows what they could misinterpret. So that's why I wouldn't do Hong Kong, unfortunately. That's always been one of the cities I want to visit the most. Hopefully things will change. But I would 100% go to Japan, 100% go to Singapore, and also Philippines. I would love to go to Manila. Yeah. And there's also a bunch of other Asian countries, like Korea, South Korea would be amazing. I've been to the Grand Canyon. I've been to the Grand Canyon when I was with family, younger. But unfortunately, I don't think there's that much to do on video for Grand Canyon. Maybe there's some history. Some ancient history, maybe. Ariel and Action Kid is a good mix. Oh, cool, Julio. St. Petersburg, Russia is a must. I've heard it's another city I'm a little bit uncomfortable with doing history videos. With these cities, they're a little bit more strict. Countries are a little bit more strict. I am a bit hesitant to go. Have the check, please. Thank you. And also the fries to go.
You gonna be leaving?
What?
You gonna be leaving?
I'm gonna be leaving. Yeah, about 5 minutes.
Thank you.
You could do hidden cam in Shanghai. I would not do that. Many vloggers have. There's been many famous Westerners who've become big in China or doing Chinese content, and a lot of them have either disappeared, no more content, or have left back to the West, maybe Europe, America, or Canada. It kind of sucks because there was a lot of great English-speaking vloggers in China, but they've all gone for various reasons, and some of them are a little bit more honest than others. One of them got followed around, which was by government agents. And it sounds like conspiracy, but it's not quite. It can happen. It can happen in any country. Detroit history. Yeah, Detroit has an interesting history. Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm gonna try to eat this. All right, so I'm gonna pack this up. Let's go to Waterfront. I'll show you what I got for souvenirs, and then I'll show you a little bit more of the Waterfront. Oh, Gwen, it was really, really good. Really good. Highly, highly recommend this place. I'll put the link in the comments. I'll show you the front in a bit. Ash asks, have I done any live streams in UK? Sorry. I did one entire month in London. Crazy amount of videos. It wasn't like once per day. Sometimes I did like 2 or 3 per day. I just went crazy in London because it just has so much history. I can easily do more in London. I also, in that trip, I did 1 day in Bristol. Absolutely blown away by Bristol. I love the Bristolian accent. absolutely love it. And then I did one day in Glastonbury, and oh wow, Glastonbury was magical. So if you want to see those London videos, you go to facebook.com/urbanistlife. Awesome, thank you so much.
I have the shop right here.
Cool, thank you.
I'm going to take this guy's seat. I got a person coming.
Okay.
Is that okay?
All right, cool. Hey, excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Where'd you get that stand?
The stand, Amazon. You can find DJI Osmo. Really, really great. Yeah.
How do you carry it?
How do you carry it? Oh,
Fold up?
yeah, it folds up. Yeah, it folds up in the front, and then you just have a small carrying case.
Sorry, did you have a question?
Oh no, just to give you the card.
Okay, sorry, I just had to cancel a drink real quick.
Cancel the drink?
No, it wasn't. I ran inside really quickly just because one of my tables wanted to cancel their drink.
Oh yeah, no,
I'll be right back.
no worries, no worries. Okay. Teresa, indeed. I'm from Bristol, says 01. Oh, cool, 01. You're from Bristol. And Boleyn also enjoyed London. Great history reference. Rosalind, would be great if you could do Edinburgh. So I'm not sure if everyone knows, but I am 100% top of my list. Number one priority is to do a massive 3-month trip through all the UK and Ireland. Ireland probably do it for like 3 weeks or 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And the other rest all around England, Scotland, Wales, and maybe even like the Falkland Islands as well. So do like every single tiny town, go to like the Dartmouth to see the megaliths, go to Stonehenge, Oxford, Cambridge, Norwich, Birmingham to learn about the industrial history, Brighton to see the Coney Island of England, Wales to go, Cardiff to see the sets and the Museum of Doctor Who, everywhere. I'd go to that town in Wales that's filled with bookstores and that other town in Wales that has a crazy name. I just want to cover every single place in England. It is my top intention. 100% want to go. All right, let me pack this up.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this guy's seat. He's getting What was the egg roll? Pretty decent.
One of the best. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Amazing food and amazing service. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
checking some other people.
People they already asked you.
Oh, wait. If you have 20 minutes.
He did ask me about 20 minutes ago. Yeah, I said it was good.
Long before these people came. I didn't see anybody. I walked in there. There wasn't anybody there. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, no problem, man. Have a good day.
Yeah, I really miss our other guys.
All right, so let me show you where I got to put my mask on. But the place I went to is Chadwick's, established in 1967. It's right by the main waterfront. I'll show you how far away it is. And I'll show you the souvenirs I got in the waterfront. Let me put on my mask. Yeah, poor guy. You know, they were trying to say that he couldn't take the seat because someone reserved it, but no one really reserved it. All right, let me put on my mask. And I'll show you more I'll show you the price so people know, because people usually are curious what the prices are. First, some mask time. All right. So that was the total. Okay, so the coleslaw, those egg rolls are actually a little bit less cheaper. That was good. $10 for the egg roll, $17 for the crab cake, and that seltzer cocktail was $7. Good price. For a total of $37.74. And of course, in the US, you do have to give a tip. I gave a 20% tip. So 20% is now the normal thing, especially during COVID. Even higher if you can. Very good meal, highly recommend it. That can easily feed two. I had leftovers. I eat quite a lot because I do a whole lot of walking and I don't eat too many times a day, but you can easily have that food for two. You can easily split that with someone else. Olivier, Olivier, we are not in Europe. We are not in Europe. Europe is so inexpensive. Nope, this is not Europe, unfortunately. I wish it was. I hope one day America, I have a dream also, that America will have food as affordable as Europe. But currently, that is not the case. I want to share with you my urban exploring experience many years ago. Is there a way to share that with you, says Ronald. Rona, the best way, either you message the page Urbanist Live on Facebook or direct message me on Instagram. Urbanist Live on Instagram. Best way. Appreciate it. Thank you. You can also share on the comments if you want to share it publicly. I'm always happy to read it. That would be like $55 to $60 Canada, says 4K Wonder. 4K Wonder, let me know, what is the average prices in Canada tourist sites? I remember Montreal being around the same price as DC/New York. Still going strong, Ariel, mi hermano. Love what you do, my man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Chris. Is it saltwater or a lake? It's a saltwater river. No. Is this a freshwater river? This is definitely a river. But I'm not 100% sure if it's saltwater or freshwater. Let me know in the comments. I'm under the impression that it is saltwater, but let me know in the comments. Oh my god, a black swan. I say everything is inflated by 15% as a baseline in Canada. Whoa, Canada is expensive. Yeah, Europe is so cheap. So cheap in Europe. Lorene sent a PayPal. Thank you so much for taking us here. Oh, Lorene, thank you so much. Everyone, give a big round of hearts to 3 people who have been very generous with their contributions. So much so, they have been covering meals and certain attractions. To Lorene, Hisami, and also Kay. And there was a few other people who gave very strong contributions as well, and I will shout you out in tomorrow's video. So give a big round of hearts to Lorene, Hisami, and Kay. When you first showed the river, it looked like saltwater. Yeah, it does look like saltwater. If anyone could let us know. Oh, Gwen. Gwen is letting us know. She says the Potomac is a freshwater river. Interesting. Freshwater. Brian, hearts, oh, cool. Joe, hearts as well. You can make a mark train to Harper's Ferry for a day from DC. Yeah, I heard about DC, Harper's Ferry. I have a few followers from Harper's Ferry as well. Are prices near top spots more expensive further away from touristy places? Yes. In America, and I think that's generally the case in almost everywhere, the prices here are a little bit cheaper than... the prices do get cheaper the further out you go. You know, actually, that might not always be the case. To really think about it, no. You know, because sometimes the prices in Queens are the same in Manhattan. So, actually, no. I think that's a little bit more the case in Europe than it is in the US. So, Manhattan might have a premium of, say, like 10% more, depending where you go, but sometimes you'll be surprised that the prices are basically the same. And you do have to tip here. So Europe, as I mentioned many times before, many parts of Europe, especially Western Europe and Mediterranean Europe, very inexpensive compared to the US. So let's check this out. Alexandria is expensive, but DC not that much. DC, I haven't found too much budget eats. There's no like big Chinatown there either, so I haven't seen budget eats. But let me know if you have any recommendation. Adam, okay, well, Torpedo's this way, right? Where are you heading tomorrow? Okay, so I'll let everyone know where I'm heading tomorrow by showing you what souvenirs I got. Oh, look, couple's taking, I think, an engagement photo. That's nice. I love that. So what did I get? Let me show you. Right by this geese. Alright, let me show you what I got over here in Alexandria. Oh, this angle kind of sucks. Okay. I'll show you from this perspective. So I got one thing I like to do is I like to get books, and sometimes they're not fully related to the location, but for me personally, when I get a souvenir, I love books as souvenirs, period. And I try to get always a book from the place, but sometimes I just like getting a book that just catches my eye, even if it's not about the place, and I still remember where I got it from. So I got this one. I'll reverse the image. Oh, there's a tiny little paddle. Huh. One-man canoe. Oh, so cool. Hello, Lori. Debbie, yes, those are egg rolls. So I got this. The Knowledge Machine by Michael Stevens. How Irrationality Created Modern Science. So this is going to be a very important book when you see my European broadcasts, because I do intend to go to areas where science was born, or a modern version of science was born, such as the areas of Isaac Newton and many other top tier scientists, even Swedenborg if I go to Scandinavia in the near future. So, very interesting book. I'm very excited to cover this. I already know plenty about this, but I'm excited to read a little bit more of a kind of a grounded academic view of the relationship between alchemy and modern science. But that's for whenever I go to Prague, Italy, other parts of England and France. You'll learn more about that. But I did get a book that was themed after the area. This is Ghosts of Georgetown. I got my research material for tomorrow. Yay! Research material for tomorrow. The Ghosts of Georgetown, when they meet in haunted houses or moonlight streets. Ooh, that rhymes. And we have Georgetown University. So cool. I can't wait to go there. So I got my impromptu research material for later today. And I got two other things. Yep, Thanksgiving socks. It might be a quiet Thanksgiving this year. Nothing probably too big. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be any Friendsgivings with how the pandemic is turning up. So I'm going to introduce some Thanksgiving holiday spirit by wearing Thanksgiving socks in November. And hopefully things go somewhat okay that I can do a live stream in New York City outside during Thanksgiving season. And here is Halloween socks. So stay tuned for a Halloween special 3 days in a row here in New York City. Well, in New York City when I get back. 29th, 30th, and 31st. Stay tuned. So that's what I got for souvenirs. So that's an insight to my way of doing souvenirs. Let me know what type of souvenirs you get. I love also getting scarves as souvenirs if I see a beautiful scarf. Let me know what do you usually get for other people. Sometimes I find cool things for family and friends. Are you staying in that area tonight? No, not staying in this area tonight. I am doing some research for Georgetown. Tomorrow we're gonna learn some history of Georgetown. But for now, let's walk a little bit more. Let's explore a little bit more of the area. Are you okay visiting Auschwitz? No, I would not visit Auschwitz, Adam. I do understand it's an important history, but I think some things have to never again, as they say. Some things kind of we have to move beyond. Of course, we need to acknowledge them, but those are certain topics I think sometimes are a little bit too dark for this usually fun and cheery travel show. Again, this is not a history lecture. It's not even a history show per se. It's a travel show. Did I take the train or fly this time? Train, Amtrak. 3 hours and 40 minutes, $29. Just got home. Hi, Ariel. Hey, Ariel, do you swim? No, I don't swim. So don't ask me to swim the Potomac down to Washington, D.C. Because A, I don't know how to swim. And B, I'm not Michael Phelps. Test the waters to check out the salinity, says Chris. Chris, Urbanus is not that type of show. We're not a marine biology show. We're not a urban environmental science show. There's probably other. There's definitely YouTube videos about the YouTube channels that are entirely dedicated to those topics. Here's the water taxi, but I don't think the water taxi is running. I would love to take the water taxi down to Georgetown. That would be so cool. Hey, Issa Bear. Yeah, but Michael Phelps doesn't have a great YouTube channel. Well, we'll have to find another YouTuber who's a great swimmer. Maybe I'll collaborate with him. I'll be on the boat, and I'll just do a live video of that person swimming across the Potomac. Who's down for that? Is Action Kid a good swimmer? Let me know. Doesn't hurt to dip your feet. I would not dip my feet in the Potomac. Chris, you can spot the GW monument from. Ooh, here we see DC. Oh, okay, we're gonna see some DC, everyone. Let's go. Let's go see DC from this distance. Here's the water taxi. It's not running. I wish water taxis were running. I love ferries. And that's ferries with the F-E-R-R-I-E-S, not ferries with F-A-I-R-E-S. I like ferries, but ferries are, they're a little bit mischievous. I want to hang out with ferries. But I love getting on a ferry. But when I get on a ferry with a ferry, I don't know, because who knows? When I return, it'll be 100 years later. That'll be a little bit inconvenient. So no ferries with ferries. Just a ferry for me. Chris, you're an awesome swimmer. All right, Chris. How did you get to Alexandria? But subway, yeah. They call it metro here, but yeah, rapid transit. So, can one just walk in? Is it public? Is it private property? Yeah, it seems you can just stroll in. I think when it's closed, you can't walk in. Yeah, we're gonna see DC right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go catch a glimpse of DC. Oh, Black Hawk helicopter there in the distance. You can go anywhere if you're confident enough. Indeed, you can. Indeed, you can. So it's a little bit hard to see, but there we go. There's our nation's capital. They're working very hard right now in not giving any stimulus. With a cup of coffee, I would sit here. In line with Ronald Reagan. So bench test. All right, people, you guys are asking for bench test. I'm not sure. This is definitely not a monumental bench. This is a very basic bench. Like the most basics of benches. This bench drinks, it's so basic, it drinks pumpkin spice lattes on October 1st. This bench is so basic, it posts quotes of people they don't even read on Instagram. Let's try this basic bench. All right. It's wiggly. It's wiggly. And this is not so high. It's wiggly. It's wiggly. My behind does not fit entirely. I have a little bit of behind sticking out of it. So if you have a big behind, I'm not sure how they say in England. Bosom. If you have a big bosom, might not be good. And yeah, it's shaky. It's a precarious position. No bird poo, from what it seems. It's bird poo free, which is good at least. And it does have a little view of the nation's capital. And the clouds are nice, so that's okay. But this is a very basic bench. Probably the most basic bench I've ever reviewed. A bench that you have to be careful with, because if you go far too deep, fall into the Potomac. You can't be too drunk on this bench. This bench requires you to be very sober. So, and it has a bad color. Yeah, not the best colored bench either. So this bench ends up getting a 3 out of 10. And it gets a 3 out of 10 only because there's some pretty clouds and we can see a glimpse of Washington, D.C. It's the only reason. Otherwise, it's not the best kind of bench. Don't come here if you're drunk. It's a bad drunk bench. Chris says not culo. No, culo would not be the best word. It will function as firewood. So if a ice age does come rolling in and we are in dire need of warmth, then that bench would be a little bit more useful. Se ve una hermosa tarde otoño. Sí, bien hermosa con todos estos helicópteros de militares pasando. Wow, this waterfront is pretty big. Cynthia says, I do not know how to swim. I'm older, but I still want to learn how to swim just for basic survival. You're young. Learn how to swim. Indeed. Indeed. Bench is definitely not Kardashian approved. Indeed. Indeed. That bench is not made for a Kardashian. Much better view of DC. I just realized it might be expensive to film videos of Havana. Yeah, Todd, it's a bit... Havana doesn't have good internet. The internet is slow in Havana. From what I've heard from my friends who visited there. So I would love to do Havana, but probably not a good place to do a live video. Probably not feasible to do a live video. The pathways continue all the way to DC? Really? Oh, that's quite a long walk. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. I don't mind walking, but that's quite another thing. Walking from Alexandria to DC. All right, everyone. 1 hour 30-minute broadcast is turning into a 6-hour broadcast as we walk to DC. No, I'm just joking. We'll be able to do that. Some things are not meant to be walked. There are trails everywhere. Oh yeah. Liz, you say serious joggers in DC. Oh yeah, very serious joggers. I've noticed DC is filled to the brim with joggers. That was very evident in my video of Embassy Row. And as I just walked around a few times at DC in the afternoon, I've just seen so many joggers. That is a long walk to DC. Oh yeah. All right, let me consolidate my stuff. I'm carrying way too many bags. I'd walk it, but it has to be in the beginning of the day, says Mariah. You got 300 friends walking with you in DC. Okay. Let's do this. I could use some company to go to the metro. Let me know if you guys want to see a metro ride. If we continue with this video, then I gotta depart from all of you, but I could use some company for the metro. That'll be nice. Let me know if you want to see the metro in DC. Oh, or the metro to DC before I head back to my Airbnb to do some reading, do some research for Georgetown tomorrow. The metro to Alexandria is nice. Yeah, we're gonna pass. We could pass Crystal City. We could pass Pentagon City as well. So more metro ride says yes. Sure, but I'll watch later. Of course, yeah. You can always watch at your own leisure with these videos. I don't ever expect anyone to really watch the full thing. You know, these live videos just to make it clear to people. While some people I do know that love watching the full thing, I do understand that these videos, you know, they're long, so do watch at your own leisure. I don't mind if you watch later or skip around when you watch a replay. That's the cool thing about online video. You can do it a bunch of different ways. So people are saying the blue line or the yellow line. I'll be going on the blue line. And let me ooh, so a lot of people do want to go on the train. Okay. All right, everyone. So let's do the train. Let me consolidate my backpack so I'm not carrying a bunch of things. And thank you everyone who sponsored and who PayPal'd and Snapchatted and done all the things to support this show. Because of you, I can do more live videos. How long does my battery last? Quite a while. I actually charged my battery while I was doing live streaming, so I think I have a full battery, so I can easily go for like 3 hours. But I'll probably be the metro ride, getting there and doing a metro ride will probably be like maximum an hour, maybe a little bit less. So the people have spoken and everyone wants a metro ride. All right, so a lot of people want a metro ride. If you don't, that's okay. I'll be back tomorrow for a history tour. Oh, this is not fitting everything. Oh, my bag. I wish I had a paper bag for these fries. Okay, I'm gonna squish things. There we go. It's traveling minded, everyone. There we go. I got everything in the bag. We got it in the bag. Do you find some DJ dance parties? Haven't found any DJ dance parties here, but maybe we can listen to some, what is it called? Go-go music? That's like the music of DC. Let me check out. I don't have anything in these bags that I don't want to leave behind. beautiful bag, but I must depart with it because I don't want to carry stuff. Everything fit into my bag. Oh yeah, look at that. This is years of practice playing Tetris as a little kid. All until my early adulthood, I played Tetris. So many amounts of time. And this is what you end up getting after years of practice on Tetris. Great packing skills. And yeah, Ronald Reagan Airport is close by. That's why we're seeing the airplanes pass by. "4K Wanderer says, I'm surprised by the depth of this trip." Oh, let me know how is it depth, and thank you so much, 4K Wanderer, for the Canadian $10. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That was a bit wiggly. Okay. Thank you so much for the Canadian $10. I appreciate that. What do you do when you're not streaming? Am I a student? No, I'm not a student. I'm a freelance filmmaker, and I do these videos. So part of these videos also is responsible for me getting more jobs as a freelance. I also make money from these videos, which is nice. Thanks to all the contributions. All right, now we're going to the metro. Tetris, I'm 20 years and that still plays me. Oh yeah. Adam, oh no, Adam, I am very full right now, so I cannot handle any more food. The only thing I could go for, and once I go back, is a good, gigantic sparkling water, which I'm gonna treat myself. Oh yeah, I'm gonna treat myself to a $4 huge bottle of sparkling water. The finest of all the sparkling waters. San Pellegrino, or maybe a Pierre. I've seen people ask him for work on these streams. Sometimes it happens, B. Griffin, yeah. Some of the metro stations are deep in DC. Yeah, but apparently there's service in the metro stop. Olivia, no worries. It's not that type of channel. Depth equals food, exploring architecture, art, waterfront, history, everything. Yeah. Oh, 4K, I'm so glad you love that combination. All right, so I'm going to walk up via King Street. Bad service here. This is like the dead zone. Okay, so we're gonna go up Queen. Let's avoid the dead zone. San Pellegrino is the best. You can dive into a Pierre. Oh yeah. Yeah, we have Radenska. Ooh, I would love to try that. I wish there was a store that's like a wine all around the world. Have maybe a good Radeska, have a good Pierre, have a good German one. I tried to walk as fast as I could to get away from that dead zone. Here seems to be a popular momo spot, another local spot. Lots of people waiting out there for momos. Interesting, you can find momos in Alexandria. Oh, all right, everyone. Seems like we've escaped the dead zone. Da-da-da-dum. Let's go back to King. Momos are the same as dumplings. Yep, they're just from Nepal. They're a little bit, you know, they're a little bit more kind of different types of vegetables that they would use in a momo. Please take your time. We don't mind waiting for Wi-Fi to come back. No, unfortunately, Johanna, I appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, the app I use, if the signal goes, the live stream ends. And I personally don't want to restart another live stream. There's only so many live streams I would do. So yeah, that's why. But I want to stream to both Facebook and YouTube, so that's why I use this app, and this app crashes the stream if anything goes wrong. But beautiful houses here nonetheless. Wait, is the metro still running, right? Yeah, it is. Can you do a live stream for your boba? Nope, not that type of show, Olivier. Shows about history, food, and culture. Metro is running good. Oh, a colonial flag. Look at that. The 13 colonies. This is how the first American flag looked like. So quiet. Yeah, this is a very residential area. There is some tourism here when things are normal, but it is very residential. I wish the metro stayed open later. What time does it close here in BC? Luckily, if you ever get stuck, you can use Uber. And right now, it seems like Uber is only $20 in the area I'm staying, which is DC proper. So it doesn't seem like it's too bad. At 11 p.m. Thank you. So Ronald Reagan Airport is nearby. Someone asked that earlier. What is the metro? Is it like the subway or the Long Island Railroad? So the metro here is what is called a rapid transit. Rapid transit goes by many different names in different cities. In New York, rapid transit is the subway. In Paris, it's the metro. In London, it's the tube. Let me know, what's the rapid transit name in your area? In Boston, it's also the subway. Here in DC, the rapid transit is called the metro. Rapid transit is different, and here I have some echo, from commuter rail. Commuter rail could be also known, commuter rail is not as long distance as regular rail or just railroad like Amtrak. Commuter rail is mostly within the state and mostly within say like a 60-mile radius around there. Give me your take. I don't have any specifics. Of course, I'm saying this all off the top of my head, so do your own research afterwards. So commuter rail is the Long Island Railroad. Here in Massachusetts, I think it's called MARC. In Massachusetts, they had their own, Maryland is called MARC. In Massachusetts, they had their own commuter rail. I think it was called the MTBA, I forgot. Virginia also has their own commuter rail. I don't know the name of that. I think it's VAS. I think VES or VAS. So that is commuter rail. But that is also different from light rail. VRE, thank you so much. Virginia's commuter rail is VRE. Now that's different from light rail. Light rail, there is no official light rail in New York. But there is a light rail in New Jersey. Jersey City to Hoboken to Weehawken. This is called light rail. Sometimes light rail is called streetcar. Or sometimes it's called trolley as well. Here, as far as I know, there's no light rail. Boston had a light rail, which was actually within the subway system, which got a little bit weird. I hope that makes sense. Paris, the commuter rails RER, yeah. I don't think Paris has a light rail. Let me know what European city has a light rail. Milan does and Helsinki do. So that is a quick explanation of the three different main versions of rail. Sometimes there's monorail, which is technically light rail, and streetcar. Basically, sometimes depends on the streetcar system, but most of the time it's light rail as well. And then there's rapid bus transit, which is different from bus. Rapid bus transit, Paris has rapid bus transit. Rome also has light rail, for example. Goes through the outskirts of Rome. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was an urbanist guide to public transportation. I basically did a video essay there in the course of 5 minutes within the live stream. I hope you enjoyed that explanation of the ins and outs of public transportation. That was my TED Talk. Thank you. The camera is blowing out the sky. Yeah, it is. Maybe I should go in number 1. I usually do wide angle during the daytime, but I'll go number 1. In Paris, we also run rail, where when someone runs after you to rob, you run. That's funny. That's funny. Have you been to New Orleans? Cable cars. Yeah, cable cars. Cable cars are basically light rail. It depends. If they're on the track, they're light rail. If they're not, I think if they're in the track, they're called light rail. Lynette says, hey, you should do a TED Talk. Maybe one day. It would be cool to do a TED Talk. I'll be one of those few TED Talkers that goes off script. Oh, it's a great food. Now it's popping, so it was a bit emptier earlier, but now it's more vibrant. So as I mentioned, this is a very residential area, so on the weekdays I imagine a lot of people come here in the afternoon once they come back from work, and on the weekends it might be very vibrant during the daytime. A lot of people come here in general. Why did I miss the start of this one as well? Okay, another spontaneous one. In some countries it's derail rather than rail, says Olivier. Stephanie says the High Line used to be elevated railroad. So the other type of rail is freight rail, which they carry cargo, and it's for commercial / industrial purposes. So many, yes. There seems to be an event for like a store, and they might have invited some local Instagrammers. Silicon Valley has a light rail. Interesting. Oh, cool, Stephanie. Can't wait to one day do videos on Silicon Valley. History of computing. Very interesting history. The Amtrak goes all around the US. Yes, heavy rail for passengers goes all around the US. Norfolk, Virginia has light rail. Ooh, we're learning all about rail. The coffee bar we passed earlier. Sacred Circle. Books, gifts, guidance for the spiritual journey. Love that. Gav says, thank you for showing the red car. Oh, my pleasure. What was the red car? Sorry, I didn't notice. I didn't do it on purpose, I must admit. But I'm glad it showed up in the video. Let me know what the red car was about. And would I do India? Yes, I would do India. India's I'm not entirely sure how it would be live streaming. I have a feeling it would be both difficult, overwhelming, and very fun. That's my impression of doing live video in India. Bald and Bankrupt, one of my favorite YouTube channels, has done videos in India, and oh wow, he encounters some crazy stuff over there. So yeah, it will be very interesting. I don't know about streaming in India. I'm not sure if anyone has done it. Alexandria Cupcake, which I covered. Excellent cupcakes, one of my favorites that I've had. You should enjoy your trips. It's more adventure. Oh, cool. I'm glad. So we can see that traffic is getting heavy. There's a lot of cars coming back from work. I didn't know Amtrak goes only to 46 states. Oh, what are the states missing from Amtrak? Obviously, Alaska and Hawaii. But what are the other two? That's 48, and there should be 2 other states. What are the 2 other states that are missing? Bold and Bankrupt has a much different style, kind of manufactured drama. Huh. You know, I don't know if, I don't think Bold, I do get what you're saying. Does he? I don't think he manufactures. I don't think he plans things. He's just very extroverted and very charismatic, very extroverted person. So I think he just encounters very interesting people. I don't think he plans things too ahead of time. Unlike other vloggers that are much more planned than he is. So stores appear to be closing early here. So this seems like 6 p.m. is when stores close. I don't even know what time it is. That's what happens when you do too many live streams. Time is distorted. 6 p.m. Okay, cool. So is this Chadwick's? No, we're walking through Alexandria. This is not Georgetown. Though Georgetown, most likely, you'll see it tomorrow at 1 p.m. will probably have a similar aesthetic, but this is not Georgetown. Beautiful shops. They all close, seems like, either by 5 or 6 p.m. But the restaurants do stay open. And as one of the locals said in my other video, until 12 midnight, many of the restaurants close. P. Griffin, your town is basically asleep by 8. Yeah, this is the case with a lot of cities that are not major cities on either coast. If possible, can you do a time travel tour? I'll do my best. You know, I've always wanted to take you guys back to the 1800s. I'll do my best. Ancient Roman times would be a fun live tour, you know, show you Cicero speaking, or hang out with Emperor Hadrian, ask him what was up with him and Antonius. What is the temperature right now? Oh, I don't know. It feels like 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Going to go. Thank you for all your videos. Thank you so much for watching. My town's curfew is at 21. Oh, wow. Yeah, there are a lot of curfews happening. Luckily, none in this area of the U.S. But we are in the pandemic, and if the pandemic of 1918 is any indicator, the second wave will be either as bad or worse. I'm not hoping for that, but things are not looking so good. If I were to be realistic, of course I always hope for the best. But there's a difference between hope and ignorance. And for me, I'm not too optimistic of having opportunities to travel in November and December. So I am enjoying as much as possible the here and the now, like I always do. But I felt especially pressed to go to DC before November. Hey, Kay will be making me Irish stew when I go over to Ireland. Ooh, I can't wait to try that out. Homemade Irish stew. That sounds amazing. What's the average prices of houses here? I don't know. Someone said earlier $5 million. It's 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Thank you so much. 26 degrees Celsius. B. Griffin says I made a wise move. Oh, indeed. I think it was a good opportunity to visit DC while it's still calm, while still relaxed. Are your legs getting tired? Says Adam. Not so much. I could use more water. It's a bit hard to drink water with my mask. And also, it's here in DC, I haven't seen too many corner stores or like convenience stores or even pharmacies. So I've very rarely had the chance to just buy a random bottle of water. But my feet are getting a little bit tired. I think I've walked definitely a lot these past few days. I would say that. You will have to get the executive producer on board. Yeah. Potentially I'll be able to do. I'll try to do my best to continue doing videos in winter. I am in the New York City area, so I'll be able to somehow show more New York City somewhere or another. Medium home is $540,000. Thank you so much. $540,000 is the median price of a home here in Alexandria. But what does a home mean? Does a home mean a floor in a multi-family house, row house? Or does it mean the average price of a single family house? That's where things get more tricky. Oh, good. Do you have dates set up for, or what are you referring to? Are you referring to dates like what time I'm going to make videos? If you're talking about New York videos, yeah, videos will continue Wednesday and Saturday as normal once I go back to New York. Except for Halloween. I'm going to do 2 more bonus videos for Halloween. You can get some water when you go back to your Airbnb. Indeed I can. Adam, indeed I can. Though it would be nice to drink water right now. At this very moment in time. It's funny to have a King Street in the Republic. Oh, it is. I'm surprised they didn't change that name. I'm surprised it's not President Street or Congress Street. I'm surprised they did not change the name. And the reason I'm surprised is because there was a lot of anti-royalty sentiment when the revolution happened. So a lot of royal-themed streets, names, iconography was actually changed during the American Revolution. They should rename Burger King to Burger Republic. I agree. I'll leave you here. A lot of cousins in Virginia are royalty related. Yes. And that's what it seemed as we went to see the history of that other house. Are you going to dress up for Halloween? No, I don't think any major festivities are happening in Halloween. So no, not for me. This place looks so old school. Ernie's Crab House, since 1943. The area's oldest crab house. Look how old school this looks. Whoa. Wow, this looks like a diner from a Western movie. That is so cool. Oh. So that literally looks like every single diner in any type of like Western themed movie, like No Country for Old Men or Fargo, like this TV series. It looks like all those type of diners. That is like a really, really like old school American diner. That's so cool. It's a crab shack, but it looks like a diner, or at least like a diner that you would find out west. All right, let's continue walking through. That's some place I love to try. You know, that place either would be very good, and it's like a hidden gem that only the very older generation of this town knows about, or it could be terrible. I think that's the only two choices when you see a type of place like that. CB says, me too. Washington's capital has a king pay for them. All right. Stephanie, do I get pedicures? No, I do not. Though I understand why would someone get one. Are people moving out of this area from the NYC? No, at this specific moment in time, a lot of people are actually moving towards these cities. A lot of New Yorkers are moving to Philadelphia, the Hudson Valley, and maybe even over here. So that's the case right now. But I think if you were to seem to see the same statistics maybe last year, it might have been the opposite. Maybe not with this specific city, because I think a lot of people who work here, who live here, work in DC. And DC has its own specific industries, mostly related to governance. But other cities that are not related to governance and don't have a really specific industry might be moving to here, to New York City. So I think DC, probably not. I think if you're working in government, you're living in DC. Like if you're working as a staffer for a congressman, if you're working for Lockheed Martin, military contracts here, you are in DC, or DC metropolitan area to be more specific. Masonic, yes, that's the Masonic temple. So cool. It looks like a real church. Of course, it's a temple. Or lobbyists. Yeah, there's a countless jobs. Lobbyists even have entire staffs. So countless jobs here with governance. So that's probably why people would still live here. Even if New York seems like a cooler option maybe to some people, there will still be a need to live here. And hence, that's why DC, these areas still have some liveliness to them, and young people here, which might not be the case if you go to Philadelphia, which has had a massive decrease in population in the past 100 years, even in recent time. Scooters are a fad that will fade. You know what? Let me know why you think that. I think maybe not. I think there's still a big necessity for a last mile transportation, which is the transportation that you need to get from the bus stop to your home or to any destination, maybe work or nightlife. And bicycles, I think bike shares, scooters do fulfill that need for last mile distance if it gets more affordable, more, I'm not sure, I think it is affordable, but I think if it gets even more affordable, there'll be need for them. All right. Was the scooter invented in the 1800s? Oh, I'm not entirely sure, seriously. Bicycle was invented around the same time as the car, so If I were to guess, I would say the scooter was probably invented around the same time or afterwards. Let's go inside the metro. So this is the King Street station, and we're gonna have our full-on metro ride for this special broadcast. And I have my metro card in here, and luckily I don't need to take out my wallet. I'll show you soon. Bye. I just walked that huge distance. I speed walked, and the escalator's not working. All right, guess my calves could use more of a workout. I'm gonna have like crazy strong calves after these videos. I'm taking the blue. 3 minutes. How many days will you stay in DC? Staying here until the 27th. You're gonna be a marathon runner soon, or at least a marathon walker. I don't like running, to be honest, but I love walking, so. Right there. Let me know extra information about this Masonic temple. I don't know too much about it. So the green belt stop is on the yellow line. And the train is empty. Yes, I think awesome. I like empty trains so I can talk while I'm still alive. This is good news, everyone. I'm not taking this one, I'm taking the next one, the blue one. We're here. We're gonna go boom, 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 boom. Right there. It's like a game of pinball. Uh-oh, we have a metro bench. Will the connection in the metro go away? No, as far as I know, no. There's good service in the metro. Only one stop that has bad service, so crossing fingers it doesn't go away. The temple is dedicated to George Washington. It's a really cool temple. And here I think should be the Amtrak stop and Virginia Rail. And here we have the blue line. What secrets lurk in the blue line? Let's find out. No! Come back! No! Stop! Yes, all right, there we go. Oh, sorry guys, I forgot to tell you on Magneto. I have special powers.
Opening, step back to allow customers to exit. When boarding, please move to the center of the car.
Oh, okay. So these are how trains look like.
Back, doors closing.
This is a train. This is the blue line. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Who was that? Is the New York City subway announcer here? alone in this car? Yes, I am. What will you do in an empty car? Let me know in the comments. If someone comes inside, I'm gonna be a little bit more silent, so don't mind the silence. But I'll show you all the way to the area I'll be going to take some photos, and then I'll be later on my way to Airbnb. It's an empty car, it's an empty car. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. You say this looks like the Twilight Zone, so do not watch the Stephen King miniseries called The Langoliers. Do not watch that show if you do not want to feel more scared about the emptiness in these cities. It's probably one of the more terrifying, non-horror, kind of like Twilight Zone-esque miniseries I've ever seen. The Langoliers. Do not watch The Langoliers. I repeat, do not watch The Langoliers. This is Braddock Road.
Opening, step back to allow customers to exit. When boarding, please move to the center of the car. Step back, doors closing.
I'm still alone in this car. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Alright, so seat review before I show you more of the views. This is by far one of the most comfiest of the subway seats I've ever been to, of any type of rapid transit seat. You can see my reflection. It's very, very comfy. It's just like the ones, it's as comfy as the ones in London. A little bit comfier because they have leather seating rather than kind of that, I'm not sure, cotton surface that London has. So it is a good seat. Very comfy, very comfy. 360, all right. I need Princess Lockaroo to show me some moves. Indeed. She'll probably do a very good empty car dance. Sliding doors is Gwyneth Paltrow. Maybe. Maybe it's the goop. The older Metro cars are actually more comfortable than the new ones. Oh, interesting. It's like, I miss staying clear of the closing doors, please. This area, that might be a little bit better. Single beggar. It's boring. Oh, well. Olivier, sorry to disappoint, Olivier. No showtime, no beggars, because you have to pay to get out as well. So begging isn't so conducive in this metro. Can I do a super tow? No, I don't know a super tow. Do they sanitize the cars? I am not sure, but it looks clean to me. Very, very clean. There's a mysterious brown stain here, but no, never mind. I'm not gonna show that. No, I'm joking. There's no brown stain. So you have to pay per distance, the distance you take. So it depends where you get on and get off, and you pay that amount. It's not like in New York City or Paris where you pay one single amount. It's more like London where it's split up into zones. And the sunset is over here. Look at that. Do you think that deters beggars from the train system? I think it does. I think it'll be very inconvenient if you're strapped for money to Go from one side of metropolitan DC to the other side. What do I do in the winter season when I don't do urbanist stuff? Elisa, I only do urbanist stuff. But all joking aside, here's the airport. What I do on my free time is sometimes hang out with friends. If I hang out with friends, go to a coffee shop or grab a bite, maybe catch a movie. I love going to the movies whenever that happens again in some eventual future where we're not being ravaged by a pandemic. That's the Reagan Airport. Besides that, I like walking around for pleasure. I like researching more history. I like researching other topics. I'm really into spirituality and metaphysics. I really love kind of learning. And I love writing. And also, I love making films. I make short films thus far, but at some point in the near future, I'll probably be making feature films. But in the meantime, I make dance films. Mostly. The airport has good architecture. Yeah, it is nice. It's pleasant.
Doors opening, step back to allow customers to exit. When boarding, please move to the center of the car. Step back, doors closing.
So is it Dulles Airport? No, Olivier, this is Ronald Reagan Airport. Ronald Reagan, the man who won in a gigantic landslide, actually. I think twice. Paris Underground. Absolutely fantastic job today, says Joe. Ooh, I'm glad, Joe. Glad you're enjoying these videos. I pay 60 euros a month for the metro stop. Do you know how much it costs here for 1 week, unlimited? $60. It's very expensive. It's very expensive. It goes pretty long distances, but $60. Yeah. You can do like a $33 one, and it's like a shorter distance. He was a great prez. He did seem like a very decent man, Ronald Reagan. His wife was super into astrology, and she actually had a personal astrologer that would consult her in the White House. So Ronald Reagan had an astrologer in the White House, just like Mary Todd Lincoln had a medium in the White House. For reference, the NYC weekly pass is 31. Yep, 33 right now, but yeah, about half the price. Ronald Reagan was an actor indeed, yeah. So a little bit for the international viewers out there who might not know about Ronald Reagan, the namesake, he was a US president in the 80s. He was originally an actor. He was one of the main characters in the Andy Griffith show. And I think he was an actor in many like Western movies and other types of movies. And then he became a governor of California, just like another actor in recent times, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Never knew that about Nancy Reagan, yeah. Very interesting woman. Max, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you everyone for the super chat. I appreciate it. One of two things in DC is named after him. Oh, cool. What's the other one? Is the library here? We're at the Brula stations. This is Crystal City. Okay. Nancy also worked with children. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. Again, when I mentioned the astrology thing, it was not a judgment upon her. Just a quirky thing. It's not. I'm not saying it's bad or good. Joe, he wasn't in the Andy Griffith Show. What show was he in the 1950s? He definitely was in some TV show. Let me know. In the late 50s. I recall that he was in the Andy Griffith Show, but do let me know. Adam, why do you say it's a ghost metro? What do you mean by that, Adam? And he was in cowboy films. Yes, he was. Benjamin whipping out those Benjamins. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Doors opening, step back to allow customers to exit. When boarding, please move to the center of the car.
So Irene says, I heard Kennedy had one medium who told him not to go to Dallas. Yes. As far as I know, that is real history. I'm not entirely sure what the circumstances. I think that was via Jackie O. But apparently there was a medium who did warn him to not go to Dallas. And the Secret Service actually asked him to go in the covered car, and he refused. Ana says, todos los presidentes consulta brujos. Ha visto varios. Anna says, a lot of presidents have consulted mystics. Yeah, there's been a few. All right. Where are we right now? This is the Pentagon. It's underwater right now? Not at this moment. Soon, Olivier. Not right now. I think in 2 stops. After Arlington, it should be going underwater.
Doors opening, step back to allow customers to exit. When boarding, please move to the center of the car. Step back, doors closing.
All right, my mistake. So it seems like Ronald Reagan was indeed not in the Andy Griffith Show, according to a few people who just mentioned it. He was apparently the host of the General Electric Theater. Okay, thank you so much for letting us know. Again, these videos are not history lectures and they're not journalism, so do your own research afterwards. I'm just making conversation, and sometimes I misremember things. I did think he was in the Andy Griffith Show, but maybe he made a guest appearance? Let me know. Maybe he made a guest appearance. Judith ordered a Urbanist Facebook face mask. Oh, cool, Judith. That's awesome. this should be Arlington. Yeah. So I think Arlington the metro only runs until 7 p.m. I think. So you can take this metro, you'll be right next door. Basically, it's a 20-minute walk, 4-minute walk to the entrance of Arlington, and about 15 more minutes to get to John F. Kennedy.
When boarding, please move to the center of the car. Step back to allow the doors to close.
Olivier, you're in curfew. Oh, yeah. I'm glad I could show you around. Fuiste al cementerio de... So, tiene que ver el video que hice por la mañana. Está en YouTube y en Facebook. Is it empty because of the pandemic, or is it mostly the rush hour like this? So, not that many views here. DC is empty due to the pandemic, but it was hit especially hard compared to other places. So, while New York City is able to maintain some type of tourism with people visiting from New Jersey, Connecticut, nearby states, and also there's a lot of other types of industry, not so much with the case as with DC. So a lot of the businesses have just closed, gone out of business. So DC is emptier than other US cities. Also, they have a very strong clampdown on rules about outdoor seating and everything. So DC is a little bit more stricter than other cities. And then beyond that, the protests gave a little bit extra pressure on DC. I don't think there's that much governmental things also happening in DC, as far as I know. That's why I've heard from locals chatting around. But let me know if anyone knows more details. 4K, thank you so much for spreading the word on my Patreon. So, if you want to lend your support, you can do so going paypal.me/ArielVieira for a one-time contribution if you enjoy this show. That's the way to contribute. Or patreon.com/urbanist for a recurring donation for the price of a cup of coffee per month. You help continue the show, help it grow, show you new places, show you interesting locations also in NYC, and also help with me having more time so I can do more research to show you more history and show you more interesting places. And thank you so much for putting the bonus channel. DC live videos will be live 1 p.m. until Monday, and then there will probably be one bonus one on Tuesday morning. And here is my handles. And TikTok is @ArielVieira. Giuseppe, where's my next destination? I'll stay live for about 10 more minutes. My next destination is, I don't know. I won't be traveling probably until February, though you might see a few nearby towns to New York City. So I've recommended, including Judith. So you'll probably see Cold Spring. I might show maybe another place in Long Island and other places in New York City, and maybe I can find somewhere else to show in New Jersey. Other than that, hopefully once the pandemic comes to an end, either by a force of nature or by a vaccine, and I'll be one way or the other, I intend on doing a 3-month trip through all of the UK and Ireland. Exorcist stairs, oh yeah, stay tuned. Judith says Cold Spring. Yes. Okay. Cool. I'm so glad you're excited for it. Stay tuned. Probably the weekend following this weekend. So probably next Saturday. So this is the Foggy Bottom. Well, all the stuff basically look the same from now on. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. See you tomorrow at 1 p.m. at Georgetown, and then 7 p.m. tomorrow for the night tour. Keep being awesome, and always keep on exploring. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. Oh, and here we go into the tunnel of brutalism. See you later.